They're everywhere. Restaurants, parks, even family gatherings. Kids with screens glued to their faces, zoning out in the digital world.
Meet Devin, 9, Delaney, 7, and Dalton, who's 4. They are savvy digital divas.
Dalty, can you hear me? Dalty.
No.
Did you hear me?
No.
These aren't just kids playing games, they're slowly being consumed by technology.
You want to read a book with Dad? You want an iPad? Oh, I'm sorry, no.
The rise of the so-called iPad kid is becoming an unsettling reality, and children today are spending more time swiping and tapping than running and playing. Playtime is crucial for developing motor skills, learning how to communicate, and figuring out how to solve problems. But with more and more young minds locked into the digital realm, we're seeing real damage unfold. Their mental health is at risk.
The 3-year-old study found that higher tablet use at 3.5 years was linked to increased anger at 4.5 years, as well as being linked to emotional dysregulation.
Their social skills are slipping.
When did you last play sport?
A while ago.
When did you last hang out with your mates?
I did a while ago.
And their attention spans?
And Lucas, what are you playing over there? Lucas. Serena, what are you matching? Serena.
Almost non-existent. These kids aren't just entertained, they're being shaped by what they see on those screens. And let's be real, who even knows what they're soaking in if no one's monitoring?
Well, a Colorado family is looking for answers tonight after they say the Nintendo gaming system they bought for their 5-year-old had loaded onto it.
Whether we notice it or not, we've entered a new era of childhood.
What do you want? You want the iPad? iPad went bye-bye. Okay.
I want the iPad.
I told you can't have it.
Yeah.
You want an iPad?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but you can't have an iPad.
You say bye-bye to the iPad, okay? You say bye-bye to the iPad?
This is the disturbing rise of the iPad kid. Millennial parents are facing an almost impossible dilemma. After a long, exhausting 9 to 5, the last thing they want to deal with is a screaming child. So, the quick fix, hand them an iPad.
Toma.
It works like magic, instantly calming them down. But here's where it gets tricky. What starts as a simple solution to a tantrum can quickly spiral into something more concerning.
You want an iPad? Say, please, may I have the iPad?
Snatch it.
Oh, you're gonna snatch it? You can't do that. You can't snatch it. I don't like you either. No. What?
The iPad, like a pacifier, slowly turns into a much bigger problem. Generation Alpha, the kids born between 2010 and 2024, is completely wrapped up in the digital world. Unlike us, they didn't ease into technology, they were born into it. Today's 10-year-olds are practically living in a different reality, surrounded by constant online sharing, advanced tech, and a level of digital awareness that didn't exist before. These kids are growing up in a world where technology isn't just a tool, it's their whole environment. And the consequences?
What? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
That's where things start getting complicated. Those early years, when a child is glued to a screen instead of engaging with the world around them, are crucial for brain development. During this time, the brain is like a sponge, forming millions of neural connections every second, especially between the ages of 1 and 3. By the time a child reaches 5 years old, 90% of their brain has already developed. But still, the brain needs constant stimulation to grow properly. Activities like babbling, interacting with others, making eye contact, and even simple playtime are essential. Now imagine what happens when a child spends hours glued to a screen instead of engaging with the world around them. It's like missing out on key building blocks. If they're not getting enough real-world interaction, those crucial brain circuits don't develop as they should. And even worse, the brain starts to prune or cut off unused connections to make it more efficient. So, if those connections aren't being used, if they're not talking, playing, or learning through face-to-face communication, those pathways get lost. When kids spend too much time on screens and not enough with people, especially their parents, their development can suffer. Social interaction, particularly with close family members, plays a huge role in how the brain grows. And the impact of all this screen time? It's not just about missing out on social interactions or physical play. It goes deeper. Author Sue Palmer once predicted that increased screen time would lead to a rise in learning disabilities like ADHD and dyslexia. She wasn't wrong. Studies have since shown that for children under 2, every extra hour of daily screen time increases their chance of developing attention deficits by 9% up until the age of 7. Palmer's ideas, especially the link between screen time and autism, proved to be disturbingly accurate. But it doesn't stop there. Screen addiction is also fueling other issues: obesity, anxiety, depression, and even sleep disturbances. Kids are staying up late, glued to their screens, and it's affecting their health in ways that are becoming harder to ignore. In fact, social and emotional skills, the backbone of success in school and life, are being stunted. The American public school system is feeling the effects of this digital dependency, with more and more children struggling to manage their emotions and interact with others. And what's pulling these kids into this screen-obsessed world? Games like Roblox and Minecraft are designed to keep kids hooked with their bright, colorful visuals and engaging sounds. These games create a world so vivid and exciting that it's hard for children to pull away. But even they don't compare to the juggernaut that is YouTube. With channels like Cocomelon and Dave and Ava, kids are being bombarded with fast-paced animations that stimulate their brains almost like a drug. Just think about it. Cocomelon Nursery Rhymes has almost 130 million subscribers, feeding children a steady stream of fast-moving, visually intense content that leaves little room for anything else. It's no wonder these iPad kids show signs of addictive behavior. The more they consume, the more they crave, often losing interest in anything that doesn't come with the bright lights and fast-paced action of a screen. It's no surprise then that as kids spend more time glued to their iPads than engaging with family or friends, their emotional and social skills are taking a hit. In fact, around 70% of parents admit that their child's screen time has negatively impacted their ability to form healthy relationships. These kids are losing out on the basic building blocks of human connection. Things like empathy, communication, and the ability to read social cues. The long-term consequences are chilling. With technology replacing those essential early childhood experiences, this new generation might grow up without meaningful connections or a real sense of self. It's not just about the here and now, it's about what happens when these kids become adults. The warning is clear. Parents and guardians need to be aware of the consequences of handing over that tablet too soon. And we've already seen what unchecked screen time has done to Gen Z. Anxiety, depression, and self-harm have skyrocketed among this generation. Growing up in a world shaped by social media, school shootings, and constant online exposure. Each generation seems to lose its innocence earlier than the one before. But Gen Alpha?
Have you ever called a girl shawty and she liked you back?
Well, I haven't done it yet, but if I did want to, yo, what's up, shawty? Yo, shawty. Oh, didn't work.
They're experiencing this loss of innocence at an even younger age. Before they've even hit puberty, they're desensitized to violence, sexuality, and brain rot content, all presented to them as entertainment on the very device that was supposed to distract them for a few minutes. By the age of 8, many of these kids have been exposed to some of the darkest corners of the internet. The effects are permanent. The more they disconnect from real-world interactions, the more empathy erodes. These kids might grow up prioritizing self-interest over community, leaning towards detachment instead of connection. And if that's the case, it raises a serious question. What kind of society are we shaping for the future?
I'ma just say this. I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
So, what does this all mean for the future? It's clear that technology isn't going anywhere, but the way we allow it to shape young minds is something we have to rethink, and fast. The rise of the iPad kid isn't just a phase, it's a warning. If we don't intervene, if we don't find a balance between screen time and real-world interaction, the next generation could grow up disconnected, desensitized, and lost in a digital world. The question we all need to ask ourselves now is, are we prepared to face the future we're creating?